Imagine sitting with us, a quiet room, two chairs, a small table, time set aside. No performance, no show, only conversation. Moments of listening, wondering, and remembering. Have a seat. You're welcome to listen. Welcome to the Just Right Stories. I have something I'm really curious about because it's a pattern I can see throughout the things you've done in original play. It's every time you share about how you started playing and how you interacted with children while you're playing or how you learned, is you didn't talk.
Right.
And like you shared just the other day the story when you didn't know, you started in that school and you didn't know what to do, and you just sat down and you didn't talk. And that every time you share that, I think, why would you sit down and not talk with the kids? Because talking is just the, like, quote unquote, the normal thing adults do with children.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you talk? That's something I always think about. And you often say, and you didn't talk, and I didn't talk. You often mention that. So
Yeah.
what is there? I don't get it.
Well, the answer I would give you now is quite a bit different from the actual experience. Now I would say, well, talking is cultural. It carries with it assumptions and logic, and you know all of that.
Hmm.
And that makes sense. But that's not the living reason. Somehow I knew, not consciously. I could say that logically I didn't know what I was doing,
Hmm.
which was true. And I knew that. I had spent the weekend ahead of the Monday that I started going over logical plans that I would use.
Hmm. What were
None,
those first ideas?
hi, I'm Fred. I'm here to play with you. That kind of actually something that I would do later on when I would play with classrooms of kids. That's what I would start with.
Hmm.
But I didn't. Nothing came to me
Hmm.
of use that weekend in terms of how to start. It's not very often that adult human beings are really faced with a situation in which they cannot use anything they've ever learned. It said that in martial arts, after all the training, after the black belts and all that, you forget all the katas, all the techniques and everything, and you do the real art.
Hmm.
Now looking back, it's as if, as the Japanese elder said to me, Fred, you start where the martial arts stop.
Mm.
But I didn't know any of that. On the actual day that I went to school, I sat in the car for a few minutes
Hmm.
before I went in. Not, it didn't help me do anything because I didn't come up with anything to do. Maybe I thought it would, but it didn't. So I walked in, and at the time, it must have felt what I now say is just right.
Hmm.
Because I didn't sit down anxious about what do I do? What do I do here? I don't know what to do. Should I move? Should I sit over there?
Yeah.
I just sat down. Um, it's like watching a cat come into a room. And the cat finds a place. The cat just doesn't stand there and look around and think and figure out. He just lays down.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's exactly what it was like. No thought, no anything. It was just boom, I'm there.
And that's my question. Where do you think that came from? Were you already a person that was just being
Oh,
very calm, being
uh,
uh, like that seems to me a skill that you get after playing a long time.
I think it had started already, but not consciously. Like the year before, or maybe 2 years, I had been surfing.
Yeah.
And I didn't really care so much about catching waves. I realized when I was, I mean, I did that, but I spent more time sitting on my surfboard, looking out toward the ocean
Hmm.
than I did anything else. It was just being there. And I wasn't doing it because I thought this would be a good Zen practice or it was nothing. It just, wow, this is,
It just felt right.
yeah, just is really nice right here. Which is really strange for me because all the years growing up, I was afraid of the ocean,
Yeah.
afraid of everything in it.
Yeah.
I only like to swim in things so you could see the bottom. Uh, Um, the same thing was true for me skiing.
Hmm.
You know, I even did a little bit of ski racing, but that wasn't the enjoyment. The enjoyment was finding a place and just stopping and
Hmm.
just feeling right there.
Hmm.
What's it like right here? And notice the trees or the wind or the snow or the mountains and so on. So I had a little bit of non-regulation kind of training, but
Hmm.
nothing regular, nothing.
Hmm.
And I had no idea, and in fact, never occurred to me, what would be right and wrong sitting there? What's the wrong thing to do?
Hmm.
What's the right thing to do when you're sitting here?
Hmm.
Never occurred to me. I just said,
To me, it's even very unusual for that time, even for now, just to go in as an adult and sit down.
right.
I mean, I'm in my classroom, we don't have chairs and tables like in a normal classroom. So every time people come in, they, oh my God, where are you sitting? And
Yeah.
that's every time it's an irritation for them. So if I think back 50 years, an male adult sitting on the floor must have been very irritating or
Well, the staff didn't know what to do with me. That's true. The staff, especially, I was the two classrooms I was in most of the time, Janie and Shirley's classroom. They were the teachers that I was an aide to
Mhm.
when it didn't work out. So they knew me. Um, but it still is, they have routines. Both of them had routines.
Yeah.
And for me to go in and just sit there,
It must have been
kind
so
of,
so strange.
I mean,
Yeah.
it nudges their routine.
Hmm.
They don't quite know what to do with me because I'm not talking to them either.
Didn't they ever talk to you about it?
I don't think so. Not seriously, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized back then that I really would not have had any words to share with them
Mm-hmm.
about why I was doing it. Maybe I had had the experience of being a university professor. And you teach, you know, some classes are 100, 200 young people. And everybody knows their roles, and certain people are in certain places because that's their role.
Mm.
And I didn't like that. I didn't like to teach like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with two ideas at different times. At one time, I arrived first, but instead of going down and standing with the podium and the blackboards and all of that, I just sat randomly in the class. So kids would come in, sit, waiting for the professor to start. And I'd talk to kids around me, say, you know anything about this? They say, no, we hear this is easy or whatever they say. And then it's time, and I say, well, I guess it's time to start. And the kids, nobody knows what to do. Because I changed the categories.
Mm-hmm.
And when adults don't have categories, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
The other thing I did was arrive first, and I would tell a student who came in first to go stand down by the podium down there. If anybody questions you, just say, well, we'll deal with it later. So we go, and I'm sitting somewhere, and I stand up and ask a question, and I say, can I teach this? And the guy says, sure, you come down. And the kid's going, what? Again, they don't know what to do with categories.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't consciously think like that when I sat down with the kids.
Yeah.
But you asked if I had had any experiences,
Yeah.
and there I had designed experiences because I knew that I was uncomfortable with categories in education. But that wasn't what I was thinking about that day. I wasn't thinking about anything. I wasn't trying to be good to kids. I didn't try to connect with them. I didn't say hello or hi or nothing. And some kids would just walk by. Other kids would come by and touch my shoulders. They would walk around behind me and kind of hang on my shoulders and leave.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't stay there for more than a minute or two.
Yeah.
And that's why some kids would sit in my lap and then get up and go. And so there was a free flow, like I really was a rock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that only happened until the teacher was ready for class to start.
Mm-hmm.
Then she became the focus, and kids are focusing on her. And I just sat where I sat.
Mm-hmm.
And I would turn so I'm facing her.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm not talking, I'm not doing anything. A child might sit on my knee or someone would hang on my shoulders. And that there became the first little about I had to fit in two places at the same time. I'm in her classroom.
Mm-hmm.
This is her space.
Mm-hmm.
She constructs it the way she wants it to be. Obviously, it doesn't include me. So now, I'll call them rules. One of the patterns that she had set up was that the kids sit down on the floor during this initial morning, like circle time. It wasn't circle time, but it was her way of doing circle time.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a child behind me with his hands here, and he's standing up.
Mm-hmm.
He's not supposed to be standing up. Is he a problem? Is he doing something? No.
I can see.
So you see, you've got two adults,
Yeah.
two different sets of rules,
Yeah.
and a child in the middle doing what, from the child's point of view, is an appropriate thing to do.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And she said, to the child. And my thinking back to that classroom, I think it had to be Timmy. Timmy, we sit down for the morning, and Timmy did it. So where's the right and wrong of that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's indicative of what happens with the original play. Because I don't abide by the rules of the school.
Mm.
My rules aren't set by the school, by the administration. At that time, I wouldn't have said this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to say it.
Yeah.
But my rules, my patterns are established by God. Now, back then, I would have said something of the sort, well, it's just being kind.
Mm-hmm.
Is the child disruptive? Is the child doing anything that destroys? Well, from the teacher point of view, yes, he is.
Yeah.
Because if he can do that,
Yeah.
then all the children can stand up and go
Yeah.
here. And for her, no, you can't have that. For me, yeah, you could have it.
There's always, because as I'm a teacher, there's always this fear of if you let one kid do something, everyone else will do it too.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's not true. But
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest fears.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
And there's an issue of control.
Yeah, yeah, it's about control.
And with me in there, it can feel competitive.
Yeah.
If kids start going to me
Mm.
instead of her
Mm.
to solve problems or to do, well, part of my task, even though at the beginning, no one said it was my task, no one said anything about this, but I would step in and solve problems with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because she has all kinds of stuff to do.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to be everywhere all the time, but I can be.
Mm.
I can notice things. As I got to be with the kids,
Yeah.
I would know that, okay, Anthony does this kind of stuff. Timmy does this
Yeah.
before he does this.
Yeah.
I could move into things and stop problems before they were problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's my job.
Mm.
That I accept it. I set that.
Mm-hmm.
David never said to me, will you help solve problems? You help do this or that or that.
Mm.
Was never established. But on that first day, after the meeting time, then kids get to choose. You want to go to the block table or the coloring or the dress up or wherever the kids get to fan out and do what they want. Well, then the rock became alive. And because if I continued to sit there, for me, although at the time this was not my thinking, now I would say I would not be paying attention.
Mm.
So I watched how the kids went to the art table, kids went. Now, the task was, how do you join them? Not as an adult,
Mm.
not as a category, and don't pretend to be a kid. Both of those are mistakes.
Mm. Yeah.
So who am I then? I don't know. Just don't try to do anything. So I would spend, and they're going to be in this, I don't know what to call it. They're going to be doing their things for roughly an hour or so, more or less. So it gives me time. So I would go over to the coloring table and I would take a piece of paper, and the crayons were in the middle for anybody. And I would put my paper down and I would start drawing or coloring. anything, whatever I felt like. And I'd look over at the child next to me, see what they're doing, and I'd look around and I'd take a crayon and give it to the kid across from me. And once I did that, kids started, they'd see what I was doing, and then child would give me a crayon for that. I would start to draw like a sun, and I'd start to look, the child would give me the yellow for the sun. So we started passing crayons around, and we were touching each other with our hands. Anybody paying attention? No, of course not. Then after a while, I'd get up, and the kids were allowed to change too. They weren't forced to stay at one space. So I'd go to the block space, and roughly there were like usually 3 or 4 kids at each thing. I sat in the block space, and I don't know why I did this. I didn't think about it. I just laid down on my back in the middle of the blocks. And I picked a couple of cars. The block space was on the floor. It also was a car space, little cars and trucks and all that stuff. So I take a car and go, and then pick up and go.
So you drive the cars over your tummy and yeah.
Didn't take long. My kids are driving cars all over me. Completely calm. Nobody's yelling and screaming and no commotion. Just the way it was before I joined. Now it was a log and not a rock. Then I would sit down on the floor in the, I want to say the dress up corner. And kids left to put hats on me and point and take another hat and put on me. And then someone said they'd start a little mother and father, a little
that's what they always
role
do.
play, and they'd say, and you be kid, you're kid, okay. I don't have to talk. They tell me what to do. So we do that. Then it comes time for snack time. And the teacher rings a bell, or I can't remember. They do something so everybody knows what to do. And they're all lined up to wash their hands. So I join the line to wash my hands. And the kids are looking like, what are you doing? I'm doing what you're doing. The kids like, they don't know what but they help me. They go and show me what to do. And then when it comes time to sit, kids are saying, oh, do you sit here? Of course, the chairs are like these little
Very
things.
small.
And then we'd go out to play. And on the playground had grass, but mostly the grass had been so used it was now dirt. Or they had play equipment. And I would go out and sit in a space. And kids would sit with me, and we'd just sit there. We didn't do much. Or I'd get up and run around, and kids would chase me. And I'd fall down on purpose, and kids would boom, fall down on me. In every situation, there was touch. Because it was a condition of what we were doing. It wasn't a command structure like, okay, you got to have touch when you do this activity. You don't have to command it. If you're appropriate in the activity, the touch is obviously there. It's part of it. It can't not be there. So my days were like that. And over time, I would respond to kids verbally. So I didn't rely on it.
Mm.
I didn't initiate.
Mm.
Um, but I was there. If kids asked questions, the
Yeah.
kids, I fully responded to that. And older kids, because the school had older kids, I think went up to 12.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would interact with older kids too, but it would be, they didn't have the variety of interaction patterns that 4-year-olds had.
Mm-hmm.
They were mostly sitting at tables,
Mm.
doing essentially work in paper, pencil, reading, or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. So I'd go around and just kneel down and sit with what they're talking and say, "What do you know about this?" And just ask questions. I'd look and I'd say, "You think that's right?" Uh, and even if it was right, I'd say that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Mm.
So the unconsciously through the whole day, I don't take on any adult roles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to be a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not consciously saying, don't be a kid, don't be a kid, don't be a... I just did stuff
Mm-hmm.
that was there to do. Um,
Where do you think that came from? Where do you think that came from? That you.
well, now I would say God played me, knew exactly what to do with me, so that now I would look back and say it was like being a master martial artist. You're never off. You have to be 100% on all the time.
You mean on? You mean aware, present?
Aware not just what's going on between me and the child sitting at the table drawing pictures. 100%. I have to be there. I have to be 100% with every child at that table at the same time. I have to be 100% floating over the entire room
Mm, yeah.
and seeing and moving ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Many things.
That's a teacher's job.
And it's an
Yeah.
impossible job as a teacher,
Yeah.
but it's not impossible as a playmate,
Mm.
because that's what is the job. And you cannot train, you can't be taught to do it. You just feel. And your feeling moves you there, your feeling moves over here, your feeling moves there, your feeling. I remember a classroom, this is much later, in a different, entirely different school system. A little girl, probably 4 or 5, never came near me in her classroom. And after months, one day we're in there, and she gave me her doll. Said, "You hold my doll?" Okay. So I just held her doll. And then she had to do something. She came, picked up the doll, and It's really nice to have a big friend.
She said that? Wow.
It's not just holding the doll.
Yeah.
So the kids are always teaching me that there's much more to any given task
Yeah.
than it appears to be.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I remember when I was a teacher, you have enough to do just to get the tasks done that are there for you to do at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
Original play, while it lives in the same environment, does not abide by the same rules.
Mm.
And the rules of a school, like the rules of a hospital, a police station, and so on, a family, are more or less designed to have a hierarchy of control and order.
Yeah.
And everybody enters that, at least on the surface, agreeing to that set of rules. And I don't. If it gets too much, because sometimes I would be in situations where, since I did a lot of work with special needs kids, and many of those kids had autism or some Asperger's in that whole, what we called a spectrum at that time. The staff would say, not only the staff, but the consultants, everybody would say, Fred, you don't need to worry that he has autism, he doesn't play. So what do I do? Do I abide by them and move on? No. I either disregard what they say as if it was never said and just go play with them. Or I stop that job and go somewhere else. I don't get into a discussion with this person about, well, yeah, from your perspective, and I see all of that, but watch. I never said that. What I did was just actually listen and go play.
Yeah.
Don't pay any attention to them.
Were you never frustrated about that?
Was I ever frustrated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have this experience and all the time people telling you, you can't do that. It's not possible. And you're like, I'm doing it.
Because I could see that what they were doing, well, for example, with children with autism, they'd ignore them.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Their mindset said, these kids don't play, so we're not going to do anything to cloud that. Of course, what the staff called play and what I call play are worlds apart.
Yeah.
That's why every person with autism I've ever been with, 100% played with me, 100%. Because we weren't doing cultural play.
Yeah.
Cultural play has rules.
Yeah.
If you don't know the rules, you can't play. And that has, whether you have autism or you're just a normal kid who's not good at sports.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
When I was in grade school, we had a boy down my block. Now we would say he had autism. Then nobody put a word on it that was wrong. But in gym class, he was always the last person chosen to be on any team. Because if we played baseball And he'd be the last one to hold the bat. If you threw the ball at him, he threw the bat at you.
Yeah. I know what you mean. We
So
sometimes
it
have
was,
kids and we go to the gym class and then I always have to think about how can I change what we do in the gym class to integrate those kids that don't
yeah,
understand the rules and not to make this a competition like most of them are used to. I often had discussions with dads like they want their kids to do like soccer and running in competitions and not in my classroom. We don't do that because we have kids who aren't that fast or kids who
yeah,
don't understand the rules and it's always especially for the dads it's hard to hear. They are
right.
like, yeah, let's go, and then no.
Yep, yep. When I taught at Mobach,
Mm,
we had kids. My kids were the youngest. They were 7.
mm,
I think the oldest were like 16 or something. Every Friday was a, what did we call it? Sports day or something like that
mm,
that day. It was non-academic day. And when I arrived, they played American football, soccer, baseball, and all that stuff. I could see my kids couldn't play with those kids. So I changed all the rules. In basketball, you could not make if you made one basket, you can't make another one until everybody on the floor makes a basket. The older kids are. So, and I said, look, all you need to do, put that little kid on your shoulders.
mm.
Then he can make a basket, dummy. I mean,
You think out
people
of the
get so
box.
caught
Yeah,
in the categorical
yeah,
rules of winning and losing and
yeah.
they can't think outside that stuff.
But if you start to shake them out of it, the kids get really creative. They have
Yeah,
lots of ideas.
they start to think
Yeah,
differently.
yeah,
And that's the whole idea. Fear is one way of thinking and acting
yeah,
within the world.
yeah.
Love is a completely separate way of thinking and acting in the same world.
Mm,
But that kind of locked in thinking occurs, for example, with special needs kids with cerebral palsy.
yeah.
Oh, they can't move. Uh, what are they doing? Look at them. What is he doing? He's moving.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So you move like him.
mm-hmm,
No teacher got down on the floor
mm,
and laid next to a child with cerebral palsy and hooked arms to see what it felt like.
mm-hmm, mm,
And that's what it did. You had to really be aware that, okay, he's got a certain body that moves in a certain way. You're aware of that.
mm-hmm.
Is that all you're aware of?
Yeah.
There's a human inside the body. What are you doing with that person? Nothing. Had a infant classroom and had a little boy that they had a special term for it, but he wouldn't touch all kinds of stuff he wouldn't touch. So but he loved, I would lay on my back and he would sit right here with his feet on the floor and he'd play in my beard. He loved to play in my beard. So I said to the therapist, I want you to bring me bowls of everything he won't touch.
Mm-hmm.
So she brought a bowl of Jello and whipping cream and mayonnaise and I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff. And one by one, we put all of that stuff
In
in
your
my
beard?
beard.
Really? Oh my God.
He
Oh,
touched everything.
yeah, yeah. Wasn't he annoyed that you always put something in your
Yeah.
beard? Like, no, I don't want that jelly.
See, I didn't go through a process When the therapist told me about, and he doesn't, there are lots of things he doesn't like to touch. I didn't sit around thinking, okay, now how do I solve that problem? What if I did this? What if? No logic at all. No thinking. No what if. I just said, bring me this stuff, lay it down, boom, do it. Original play is not planning how to achieve a goal.
Yeah.
Because the Fred that's laying on the floor with the stuff in his beard is not a Fred who sat an hour earlier and decided that that would be a good thing to do. Why is that important? It's important because if it's the Fred who sits there, dreams up this idea, and go and executes it, he, and especially what the child thinks is not relevant here, but he and the therapist think that Fred did it.
Mm-hmm.
So the question then becomes, what more can Fred do? What's Fred's skill set?
Mm-hmm.
That's a trap, because I'm going to be in positions. For example, when Danny bit me in the face,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't react with fear. How does Fred do that? Well, Fred didn't do that. But the thinking all along is everything Fred does
Mm-hmm.
is Fred doing something.
Yeah.
Well, the truth was, since I didn't plan that, I had no idea what to do with the beard thing.
Mm-hmm.
I let go of the self that thinks he needs to be in charge, take control, to do something, to demonstrate to
Yeah.
people that I can do
Yeah.
what I do. But if that Fred lets go, what knowing's not a word. What I feel is that when I enter the situation, the answer's already solved. All I need to do is not get in the way. Accept, be aware. Be aware of
And the
I
answers,
was
the answers always seem to be so perfectly designed.
yes.
Like, if you think about it, that's a totally logical thing to do, but you would never have that idea. Never occurred to you.
Original play is applying the Goldilocks principle from physics, astronomy, and biochemistry, and applying it to life instead of molecules
Mm-hmm.
and chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow we think that that's okay with molecules. We accept that. We don't accept it between us. But if you pay enough attention, if you're aware enough, it becomes the default answer. The I doesn't need to solve the problem. The I needs to be aware enough to participate
Mm-hmm.
in the problem and know what to do, know what your task is. It's like every carpenter, every chef, every surgeon knows exactly the right tools to use
Mm-hmm.
at any given time. Humans don't. We've said, well, we can't solve war, or we can't have peace. We're not using the right tool. Imagine you're on the table for heart surgery and you see the doctor with a hammer and a saw. Something's going to occur to you that I don't think those are the right tools. It never occurs to us. Fear is not the right tool to bring peace, to be safe. No matter what it was. I was in South Africa once. I gave a lecture in a hospital to nurses and doctors. And there must have been like 50 doctors and nurses there. Hour and a half lecture, something like that. And we're leaving, or we're about to leave. We're not, it's finished, but we haven't left yet. And a nurse comes in and says, "I'd like to see you do what you do." Yeah, okay. She says, "We have a little girl and her mother, and they're in, I'm going to call it a waiting room." I mean, what it is a small room, maybe the size of this room. And a woman and the little girl was probably maybe 6, in that age range. Little girl sitting with her mom in this room. And at one end of the room is the one-way mirror. So as many professionals as can crammed into that room. And the nurse said, "Just go in there." So I went in, walked in, and there's the one-way mirror. And I was sitting over here on a chair is Mom. Could be Grandma, but I think it's Mom. And a little girl. I look, and there are a few little toys around. Because this is a waiting room in a hospital that works with children, so there's a few things there. And I look around, and little girl just almost hugs her mom's leg. She's not moving from there. So there's this little thing. It's like a horse on wheels, but it stands maybe, a couple of feet. And the child's supposed to sit on it and shuffle along. So I get on it, and I shuffle along, and I go right up to the mirror. And it's glass. Everything is normal wall except for this big. So I'm on this mirror doing like this, and then I fall over. Boom. And she gets up, and she comes up and picks the horsey up and sits on it. And I go like that to her, and she does it. And I fall over, and she falls over on me, on top of me. So we get back up, and I go back, and she goes back. And then I hurry, go back to the window, and she does that. And she starts to play with me. I'm going to say it's 15 or 20 minutes. Maybe even it's 10 minutes. I mean, it wasn't really long. They have appointments. Everybody has appointments. So another nurse comes to the door and says to the mom, "It's time for your appointment." So Mom gets up, comes the little girl. At the door, the little girl turns to me and does that and goes with her mom. The people come out of the space behind the mirror, and they, "What'd you do?" They don't know. Oh, it was such a beautiful interaction. And from them, I'm sure from Mom, because I never talked to Mom. And I'll just say that Mom and the little girl weren't white. I don't know whether they were black, Indian, but it was clear from working from the outside that you had a white man and a non-white little girl. just playing like they was father and daughter
Mm-hmm.
in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what happened there? It's a 3-person, 3-being playground. One, I have to be aware. What's the space? Who's in the space? What's this space used for? What's happening here? Okay. What's here? Ah, the toy. Okay. The mirror is different from everything else. Okay. I don't do anything with the girl. I don't go give her. I don't try to do something. I don't go to her.
Mm-hmm.
I just go. The little girl follows. The little girl just.
Mm-hmm.
Who's leading the little girl? Not Fred. Fred has no plan. Fred's not doing anything. I'm not trying to get her to the mirror.
What is it? What do you think? How would you call what you are doing? Like,
What do I call what I'm doing?
yeah, it's like,
Well, at the time, I just call it original play.
yeah.
Now I like the idea, just because of the nature of the times we live in, I call it the Amen algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And Amen means thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, an algorithm is a set way of doing something to solve a problem. So this is the thank you way of solving a problem. Well, who am I saying thank you to?
I thought like I understood that amen means something like it's a word that people used to say like a handshake. They made a deal. It's like
Oh,
like finishing up a deal. So the amen would mean something like, okay, let's keep to this deal.
it's more than that.
It's more than that.
Originally.
Yeah, yeah,
Certainly, I think that's true
yeah,
given
yeah,
what it becomes.
yeah,
But at the end of prayers,
yeah.
thank you.
It's to me that totally connects,
Yeah.
but also like this sealing this connection.
Yeah.
I really like that.
There were 4 beings in that room. My guess, if you asked everybody, they only saw 3.
Mm. Mm.
So what happens is that God creates the grace, the thank you, the space.
Mm.
My task is to be aware of what God has set there for me. He set the answer
Right there.
right in front of me. I could be not aware and not see the toy and not think of the wall and just go and do adult stuff.
So in a way, like original play helps you see the answer that is already there.
Yeah.
Because the answers are always there. And when you play afterwards, it's very obvious, but you didn't see them before.
That's right. You don't see the answer before, you live it.
Mm.
And then oh, yeah, now I see it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was true from sitting like a rock.
Mm-hmm.
God, I can't paraphrase, I can't give it exactly, but St. John of the Cross has this wonderful answer when he asks God about how do you prepare me? How do you prepare us?
Mm-hmm.
And God gives him an answer about suppose you're playing chess with a master of the game and the master wants to teach you everything there is to know about the game. What is he going to do? He's going to prepare every single move for your best learning. And that's the way he does everything. Yeah. When I read that, I thought, oh my God, that's exactly my life.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you put together with that St. Catherine of Siena saying, all the way to heaven is heaven. Yeah, I say, oh
one
man.
One of my favorite, yeah.
Every one of these little steps is heaven.
Yeah.
That was an enclosed heaven in the hospital. Yeah. And then I finish up with Saint Teresa of Avila's statement about understanding. I don't understand this. My brain doesn't understand this. I don't know why it doesn't understand it. I just don't understand anything. I said, oh man, that's exactly the way it feels.
Yeah, because it's nothing for here. And maybe that's also why there are no words.
Yeah.
Why it starts without words and it starts without words and it ends without words.
Yeah. I never even occurred to me what the word amen meant. Now, how many times have I said that growing up after every prayer? Amen, amen, yeah, okay. Never had any meaning until it was, wow. When I finally read what it meant, I said, oh, now it makes sense. Now, and it's not, for me, I'm talking about for me, what it feels like. It's not so much, thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for giving me the responsibility to join you in taking care of life. Because
there's two sides.
Yeah, it's always. Yeah. I have complete freedom to do whatever I want.
But in that way, if it's two, you're part of creation and part of creating peace. Because that's right. The only thing that creates peace, in participating too.
You create peace every time. It can be frustrating if you measure that against all of the non-peace going on at the same time. That I have to take a breath and think back to what happened in the one time. Does it matter if anyone could describe that? No. Doesn't matter. There's so much presence. It's hard for people to believe who, like in that situation with the little girl, people watching in the mirror. The little girl had no choice. I had no choice. Because the kind of choice we're talking about belongs in a world of right and wrong, where you can make right choices, wrong choices, all that stuff. This is not that world. The world of just right means three beings make exactly the same choice that ends up with the just right environment. All three of us had to make choices there about what to do in order for the event to be just right. Yeah. And it's not a big deal. But if you're trained as a martial artist, as a police person, as a soldier, if you're trained to think and move based on fear, eventually you don't even think. That's what you do. And so you have the problem of soldiers coming back after war and still think they're in war. And the culture doesn't know what to do with those people. Because the culture believes in the fear that put them in the place they're at. So how can the culture that believes in that stop it? The culture can't do anything about it. You have to stop the culture of fear. And for each time original play occurs, whether it's me or anybody else, that's a moment of peace. A moment in which the tragedy of war stops. And that's essentially the history of original play. It's all moments. Sometimes the moments get enlarged, like Jose putting his gun down. He had to come to a point where he felt he could put the gun down. Or JD feeling like nothing ever gets better than this. And you think back to that first day, when I say God played me, that's not a joke. Because it took exquisite skill so that at each little step, I would do exactly the right thing to lead to the next step. Not say, oh, that was nice. Okay, let's have dinner. That's not the idea. My idea in the martial arts, in Aikido, was not to stop, was to realize that all this motion, all this movement, that wasn't the real training. What's the training? I remember as I was a senior student in my Aikido dojo at one time, and Sensei Ace would have me come up and demonstrate before the class did the exercise. And I would stand in front of him, and he would make a motion that would tell me what he wanted me to do, grab a wrist or throw an arm, a punch, or whatever it was. And he would get ready. And so I would get ready. And before he would make the indication of what he wanted me to do, it was like lightning flash. He would, boom, out with his hand and tap me in the forehead. And I'd fall down. I'd get up and think, wow, what was that? I missed so we'd do it again. Boom, on the ground. We did that. And this is hard to believe. We did that for almost a year and a half, 2 to 3 times a week. It was incredibly embarrassing. So embarrassing. He had to choose other people. I had no idea what was happening for a year and a half. Nothing. Finally, he chose me again after a year and a half or something. We're standing there waiting. And you could see the slightest smile on his face. And he reached and we did the technique.
Mm-hmm.
He never told me what he did and why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
But after that one day, I sat down and I knew it.
You did?
Every single time for a year and a half, I slightly leaned toward him.
Mm-hmm.
Just enough so that he would see it. No one else saw it. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
He saw it.
he saw it.
If I'm leaning towards him, I'm not centered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just right.
Yeah.
So he's going to teach me how to be just right. But so that had to happen in a setting in which I can feel frustrated and not know what's going on, but I still stood there until my body figured it out.
Your body figured it out. Yeah, that's what I want. Your body figured it out.
Yeah.
Your body knew at some point. Took a while. Yeah.
And I just saw the other day, I saw a photograph of Sensei doing a movement with somebody attacking him. And Sensei isn't touching the guy. And he has one arm under the guy, and the guy's head is here. And this other arm is like this, and the guy's body is here, going back. And I looked at that and said, that's the art of Aikido. That circle. Sensei is bringing the attacker inside the circle of safety without even touching. That's the idea of original play. We bring the world inside the circle of safety, and the circle has no circumference. It's infinite. So inside that circle, you can be a child with cerebral palsy, a gang member, a lion, because sometimes you're inside the circle.
Yeah.
I was inside Nala's circle. And what you realize is this whole thing is a bunch of concentric interacting ensos.
Oh my God.
God is the bestest calligrapher.
So that's why you need to do an enso every day, like you do, just to remind you.
Yeah, it just, whether it's like this or...
Yeah, you have a whole pile of ensos on your desk here. That's a beautiful one.
Or like that. I mean, they're both...
Yeah.
They're both just right. For me, it's easy for me to say, oh yeah, that looks just right. This one, well, I don't know. So my thinking this is just right. This is the combination at that moment.
At that moment, yeah.
It's just like every move when you're playing with kids.
Yeah.
When you're playing with... And watching you and Klaus the other day. The two of you were quite different than any other of the volunteers who played with Klaus,
Oh, yeah.
in the sense it was as if you were choreographed,
Mm-hmm.
that your motions led to his motions that led to both motions, and they were, wow, that was, and you go, that's the just rightness.
Mm.
And so were the others, but they didn't, they're still feeling, they're not sure.
Mm.
So their just rightness has a tentativeness to it. It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
but essentially, when you actually feel what just right is,
Mm.
it's yes.
Yes.
There's no tentativeness.
Yeah.
You give 100%.
It's going in totally, fully being there, giving
Yeah,
everything. Yeah. I feel that.
it's Paul. It's Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Was yes.
Mm.
Brother David Stendelrust. It's Jesus.
Mm.
I mean, it's just the
Yeah. Yeah.
razor edge is a mile wide. Can't fall off the razor's edge.
Yeah. But you only know it if you've said yes a couple
That's
of
right.
times. Because
That's
then
right.
the first times is like, oh, but then at some point it's like, oh yeah, it's holding. It's holding.
Uh-huh.